Hey, Rob Bannon, thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. Today's video is all about using the impact zone dynamics to help us hit better golf shots, get our hands forward in the impact position, compress the golf ball, and make more solid contact. We'll start talking about the impact zone. Dynamic number one, which is the flat left wrist at impact, is really important to create that consistency and that solid strike. Dynamic number two is all about creating a forward swing bottom. We want the low point of the swing forward of the golf ball. In the impact zone teaching principles, we actually want the deepest part of the divot about 4 inches in front of the golf ball. You know, at that point, if we create those conditions, we know that the handle is leading, the shaft is ahead of the club head, and the club is actually moving down and bottoming out in front of the golf ball to really compress that golf ball. Earlier today, I had a chance to take a look at a swing video of an individual who was really struggling with their impact position. And what we saw in the video was the player moving the club to the top of the swing and really not creating a lot of leverage in the swing, really not hinging the club enough. And on the way down, really kind of releasing that angle too early and releasing the club early, creating a condition where he's actually flipping the club at impact. You can see the left wrist is now cupped, and we're actually hitting behind the golf ball, so the swing bottom is after the golf ball, which really creates a poor condition for impact. If we want to get into the dynamics of having a flat left wrist at impact and having a forward swing bottom, we really need to work on dynamic number 3 and 4, which is actually loading the lag in the swing and actually storing that energy so we can release that energy into the golf ball and compress the golf ball at impact. When we looked at this swing video, we noticed a couple of things in the pre-swing fundamentals with the player. The first thing is we noticed that the player had the right hand and the club really in the palm of his hands and even on the left hand. And what that creates is a lot of tension and the inability of the individual to actually load the club in dynamic number 3. And then on the way down, he really can't store that energy because he hasn't built up enough load on dynamic number 4. And what ends up happening is in order for them to hit the ball, they try to create the energy by throwing their upper body at the ball and dumping the leverage at the bottom to try to create that energy. So the first thing we want to make sure is we got the proper grip. We really want that left hand and the right hand in the fingers so we can actually have it nice and relaxed and we can actually hinge the golf club properly. So if you're out there, you know, practicing, make sure that we work on our grip tension and pressure in addition to having it in our fingers so we can actually swing the club back and really feel that angle, making that nice little L right there in our backswing. And dynamic number 3, which is actually loading that lag at the top and then storing that energy on the way down and not releasing it early. The other thing we got to work on is actually storing that energy and not actually dumping the leverage on the way down. So the drill that we have is really a pitching drill, but we're going to use the aiming point technique, which is a technique to try to help us get that forward swing bottom in front of the golf ball. What we want to do is we want to pick a spot about 4 inches in front of the golf ball, pick that reference point, and really focus our mind's eye on that. So when we're making our swings and actually loading dynamic number 3 in the backswing, on the way down for dynamic number 4, we're actually guiding our hands to that position in front of the golf ball so we can get that lag and store that energy and release it into the golf ball properly and really compress it. So here's what it looks like. I'll go ahead and set up to the golf ball and make sure that I'm nice and relaxed. I can hinge the club up, really take a couple of waggles and relax the club. Pick that spot about 4 inches in front of the golf ball. Get that in your mind's eye, make a rehearsal, really get that dynamic number 3, that load into the backswing, and then try to maintain that angle. Focus on that spot 4 inches ahead. Go ahead and make the swing. Make a nice solid strike. You can see that I had that tee about 4 inches in front of the golf ball, and you can see that tee jumped out of the ground as it bottomed out about 4 inches in front. So if you want to improve your impact position and really compress the golf ball, let's focus on those impact dynamics that help us create, store, and release that energy into the golf ball. Play well.